Session of the November 15th, 2022 meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. Welcome to our guests and visitors. We provide an opportunity for the public to address the city council on any agenda item or during the hearing of visitors portion of the agenda. On items other than public hearings, speakers will be allotted 1 3-minute presentation, regardless of the number of items the speaker wishes to address. If you're here to speak and have not filled out the registration card, please see the city secretary staff at the registration table outside of the auditorium so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know at the beginning of your presentation and staff will distribute those to council. If you're unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Our first item of business is to consider the minutes of the November 1st, 2022 regular city council meeting. These minutes were provided to you in your meeting packet. Are there any corrections? Nope. All right, there being no corrections, those minutes will stand approved as submitted, and we will now transition to the public hearing portion of the agenda.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider a resolution approving the following subdivision plats. Final plat and construction plans of the Texas Central Edition lots 9 and 10, block 7, and preliminary plat of the Prairie View Estates Edition in the ETJ. By a vote of 7-0, Plan Commission recommended that the plats be approved.
Are there any questions for staff? We'll open up a public hearing for comment. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? Not, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez. Aye. Wateroo.
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. We'll move to public hearing 2022-862.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider a resolution granting a special permit to Chad West doing business as Snap Clean Car Wash for automobile car washing establishment in C2 zoning district on property described as lot 58, block 1 of the Central Texas Marketplace Edition known as 2314 Marketplace Drive. By a vote of 7-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the request based on the following findings. 1, the proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan, the purpose and intent of Chapter 28 zoning of the set of Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco. 2, the proposed use is compatible with appropriate northerly development of the area in which is located. 3, the proposed use would not be more objectionable to neighboring properties because of traffic congestion, noise, fumes, vibrations, or any other characteristic than any use permitted in the zoning district without the granting special exception. And 4, that available community facilities and services, including the road system, providing access to the proposed use are adequate for the proposed use.
Are there any questions for staff? We'll open a public hearing for comment. My first card is Chris McGowan.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Chris McGowan, 2501 Briarcliff here at beautiful Waco, Texas. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have about this application.
Any questions for Chris?
I don't have any. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
On the same one, we have Chad West. Any questions? All right. Anyone else here to speak on this item? If not, we'll close the public hearing and I'll ask for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez. Aye. Wateroo.
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. And the next item is public hearing 2022-863.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider a resolution granting a special permit to Jackson Luckin for a short-term rental type 1 in R1B zoning district on property described as 1 acre of land out of the TJ Chambers Grant Abstract Number 7, McLennan County, Texas, being all that certain 1 acre of tract of land to Judith P. Staples, recorded in document number 2015-011-496 of the official public records of McLennan County, Texas, known as 4608 Bagby Avenue. By a vote of 7-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the request based on the findings required for granting a special permit per section 28-122 of the zoning ordinance.
Are there any questions for staff? I'll open a public hearing for comments, and I have one card, and that is from Jackson Luckin.
Good evening, y'all. Thanks so much. I just wanted to come down and introduce myself. I'm Jackson Luckin. We moved here a year ago to open up the Dutch Bros Coffee here in Waco and Temple. And we're excited about our short-term rental, but just wanted to say we love Waco and everything that's got going on. And any questions, of course.
Any questions?
No.
Thanks, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak on this item? I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez? Aye. Wateroo?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes, the motion carries. And the next public hearing is public hearing 2022-864.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider a resolution granting a renewal of a special permit to Mission Waco, Mission World, Inc. for a shelter in C5 zoning district on property described as Lot 10, B11B, Block 7 of Tinsley subdivision known as 1217 Mary Avenue. By a vote of 7-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the request based on the findings required for granting a special permit per section 28-122 of the zoning ordinance.
Are there any questions for staff? I'll open up a public hearing for comment. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? Any questions? All right, I'll close the public hearing and I'll ask for a motion.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll just say for this one, for me, I'm gonna be vote. First of all, Mary, and to you and your team, thank you for your selfless work to our community. You do an excellent job in serving our community well. I'm voting in favor of this, but I do want to note that a 5-year term, I'm in favor of it, but I do think that there's a need for strategic work around what is our coordinated citywide plan to address people experiencing homelessness from a geographic regard in terms of shelter and services. There's a lot of disruption in the marketplace right now. My understanding is Behavioral Health Network, formerly MHMR, is my understanding, I could be wrong about this, is moving a lot of their services out of downtown. Salvation Army is moving their services around downtown. So as we approve these permits in the future, as the city looks at from a placemaking perspective, from a services perspective, and just as in general strategic plan for how to address the concerns and issues for the people experiencing homelessness, I think is going to be something that is of importance. And so I think that I would just really urge future councils and future city staff members to really look at, from a placemaking perspective, what is the best location and what is the best pathway to provide quality services to people. Is this the best location? Is there room for improvement in terms of a strategic plan? And I'm not saying that it's not. I just think that that's something for us to continue to evaluate. And at this point, I think that there's room for us to continue to explore that as we go forward. So thank you again, Mary, for all the work of your organization.
Thank you for those comments, Mayor. I totally agree with you. I didn't think about maybe shortening the year for the permit. I don't know why I didn't think about that as long as I've been on the council. I just didn't think. But I agree with your comments. I think there should be something out there that the staff can look into and making sure that this is the best place and the best way to handle this issue. Would I be out of place to amend my amendment, maybe to shorten the years, or are we okay? I mean, there's
No.
only 4 of us, and that's why I'm asking. All 4 of us have to agree on this in order for it to pass, right? City Attorney?
Yep, that's right.
Yes, on this item, yes.
Okay, so I'm asking you guys, what do y'all think about shortening the years instead of 5, maybe 3? I don't know. I'm just asking. What do you think?
Clint,
fine
what
with
was the last term? What are we renewing? A
It
1-year
was a
term?
5-year.
It was 5 years also?
But that was before everything that's going on now in that area.
Yeah.
Has started up. And I think we need to be cognizant of the fact of what we're doing and what's in the future for that area as well. So thank you for reminding me, Mayor. What do y'all think about, I'm asking about the amendment.
I guess that there's a proposal to amend the motion to 3 years. And so,
And I will allow that amendment to my motion. Is that how we do it?
Yes, so you're not adding a condition, so you can amend your motion.
I'll amend my motion to renew it with the condition of 3 years and not 5 years.
and then we've closed the public hearing, but there's a motion, a second, Jennifer.
Yeah, I think it might be advisable to reopen the public
Yep.
hearing based on the amendment.
That's fine. So we'll reopen the public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? I see a hand raised.
Kathy Wise, listed as Mary Wise in the information with Mission Waco. It's a little surprising to hear your comments tonight, and so I'm not really prepared to speak to them. We went through the process just like the rules say. The zoning commission has already looked at it and considered it. So to me, it doesn't feel fair for y'all to want to amend the timeline on this. And I don't want to give comments on behalf of Mission Waco when there are other people that are involved with the Housing Coalition that serve with us. I'm more on the operations side, so I deal with the special permits and that kind of thing. So, but I don't, I guess I would rather a tabling to let there be some more discussion or something like that before you go and decide to move from 5 years to 3 years in the whim, rather than,
It's not a whim.
well, I'm
Not a
sorry, I didn't
whim.
mean to be disrespectful. What I meant is just so quickly tonight when there's been no communication with us that was even a consideration. And so I would just prefer if there a request that if you want to table it a month, and then let's have a time for some conversation outside of this to look at it. But I mean, if it is 3 years, then it's 3 years. But that's just my thought.
Is there anyone else here to speak on this item? If not, we'll reclose the public hearing. I do have a question for staff, and that is there any implication to us tabling this item regards to a lapsing permit or that would impact operations negatively or anything like that?
No, I think you would need to reopen the public hearing and continue it, and it would impact.
So we have an amended motion. So I'll ask for discussion on the amended motion in terms of reopening, whether or not to reopen the public hearing, to table, to get more information and engage in discussions, or to proceed with the vote.
My thoughts. It's not that we're turning them down. We're not turning you down, Mission Waco, we're not. We're just saying, instead of 5 years, to just make it 3 years. And the reason being because of all the activity and all the new projects that are going on around that area. Would that impact you? Would it impact us? That's what we want to look at. To me, that's what I would want. I would want to really, 5 years is a long time for any especially for this type, and especially for all the projects that are going to be going on around that area. Just want to make sure that we're a good fit with what we're doing, and that we're doing the best for the district, best for the Mission Waco, and best for us, best for the residents and folks that are going to be using that area. That's what I'm saying. I'm open to whatever the council feels like. That's why I asked, and I know it's going to take 4 of us to pass it. If I say no and y'all say yes, it'll still fail, or vice versa. So I want to hear y'all's thoughts on this. I really do.
I'm inclined to table it out of the spirit of partnership because we are so respectful of the work that you do. It's not in that spirit. And so if you feel caught flat-footed tonight, Kathy, that's not what we want. And so I think that we can table it if we all decide to do that. But I think that
I didn't hear all the comments.
the public hearing's closed. So, but I think, so I think that there's value in the decision to move forward for 3 years, but I also, for me, there's an absolute need for the services, the quality services that Kathy and John and everyone at Mission Waco, Mission World provide to our community. This is not saying that there isn't a need for those services, or this isn't certainly shouldn't be taken as a lack of support for those services. It's just, from my vantage point, at least speaking for myself, it's a desire to make sure that we're, as the landscape in downtown changes, and by the landscape, I don't mean services getting pushed out. Behavioral health network and Salvation Army are leaving on their own accords. And so the landscape is quickly changing, and I want to be strategic and thoughtful about the placemaking of this. And that's why I think 3 years makes sense. It's not an indictment on the services. It's certainly not saying that I'm not grateful and honor those who are providing those and the people whose care is being sought. Council members, what are your thoughts?
Home's here.
Holmes here. This is what I have to say about it. Well, I mean, I do respect that Clinton proved, I mean, he recommended 5 years, right? So I respect that. So I'm kind of inclined to table it and I guess think about, although I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a dog in the hunt, so to speak, but it sounds like we do want it there at least 3 years. The 5 years, I guess when I was reading it, that's why I thought it was year to year. In fact, it was 5 of them. Okay, fine. But 3 sounds right, but I'm willing to table it because I don't want to disrespect what Brothers Cooper's done and that. So, once you go ahead, I may talk again. Because I want to amend, do I have to amend my motion? Because if we vote on it and turn it down, do we even vote on it again? I want to procedurally do this correctly.
You would have to do a vote on a withdrawal. So make a motion to withdraw it, second, and vote.
Reopen the public hearing.
Reopen the yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think if one of us feels strongly about tabling it, then I'm fine with that. I don't think I think in addition to the need and the good efforts in it, I think also the quality of the services there are not at issue whatsoever.
Absolutely.
And we're very grateful for the service provided in the community. I do understand the mayor and Councilmember Rodriguez's point about maybe a 5-year window of renewing a special permit for something like this in the rapidly changing downtown real estate and homeless services landscape here. Maybe that makes sense to shorten the time frame of the special permit. So I'm willing to go with the 3 year if we want to. But if you feel like maybe tabling it and just taking it up at our next one of our December council meetings, I'm on board for that too. I don't want us to. I hope we're united in what we land.
Yeah, I think given that Ms. Wise made the request to table it, and given the track record of strong partnership, I think that that's the best path forward. And again, echoing Councilmember Border, when I say the rapidly changing downtown, I mean primarily in regards to the services that are not going to be existing in this part of the city anymore, and just wanting to be strategic about the location of something like this. And so I am certainly, I would advocate that we withdraw the motion, vote to withdraw, and move to continue to engage in discussion.
So Councilmember Holmes,
That's good.
Councilmember Holmes made the motion, so he will have to move to withdraw the motion.
I move to withdraw the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the move to withdraw? All right, please pull the council.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Porteru,
Yes.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, the motion carries. Now we will reopen the public hearing. Is there a motion to continue the public hearing to a date certain, which would be December 6th. All right, December 6th.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Orderud,
Yes.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to public hearing. 865, thanks.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the city of Waco, Texas, providing that the code of ordinances be amended by revising section 28-247 in chapter 28 zoning of said code, providing that the zoning map shall be changed so that 0.23 acres, 10,000 square feet of a certain property described as being all of the tract of land located in the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, being a portion of lot 13, block 1 of the Westwood addition to the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, as shown on the plat recorded in McLennan County Clerk's document 2015-03-296, 2996 of the official public records in McLennan County, Texas, known as 4901 Franklin Avenue, shall be changed from M2 district classification to become and be designated in the C2 district classification, providing for penalties, providing a severability clause, and finally determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 7-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the rezoning based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in conformance with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. 2, the public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in C2 zoning. 3, the property meets all the size and width requirements for C2 zoning. And 4, commercial is zoning is a dominant zoning along this side of Franklin Avenue.
Are there any questions for staff? I'll open up a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? If not, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Move for approval on first reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Orderud,
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. We'll move to public hearing 2022-866.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the city of Waco, Texas, providing that the comprehensive plan be amended to change the land use designation from mixed-use flex and medium-density residential office flex to urban residential on property described as lot 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, block 100 of the Arch and Hold addition known as 1701, 1705, 1709, and 1711 Proctor Avenue in lots 1, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, 4, and 5, block 24 of the Arch and Hold addition known as 1700, 1704, 1708, 1712, and 1714 Proctor Avenue, providing that the code of ordinances be amended by revising section 28-247 of chapter 28 zoning of the code, providing that the zoning map shall be changed so that certain properties described above shall be changed from C2 and C3 to R1B district classification, provided for penalties, providing a severability clause, and finally determining the meeting at which this ordinance passes open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 7-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the land use designation based on the following findings. 1, public infrastructure is adequate to provide for zoning districts allowed in the proposed urban residential land use designation. And 2, the urban residential land use in the vicinity of the subject property. Plan Commission also recommended approval of zoning based on the following findings. 1, proposed zoning is keeping with the land use component of the comprehensive plan as revised. Public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in R1B zoning. The properties meet all the size and width requirements for R1B zoning. There is R1B zoning adjacent to subject properties. The proposed R1 zoning is more compatible with surrounding area than the existing C2 and C3 zoning. And then R1B zoning brings the existing residential uses into conformance with the zoning ordinance. We did receive a request from the property owner of 1701 Proctor Avenue to remove their property from this request.
Are there any questions for staff?
So just to clarify, and we talked about this afternoon, on the 1701, it is, they front that one street, Proctor, right? And they have property next door that's commercial, and they have requested to leave their property zoned commercial.
Correct. They own a commercial building on the other side of the alley that faces Herring Avenue from their property on Proctor that they would like to leave commercial.
And they weren't really part of the application process. We just kind of pulled them in as a dragnet kind of deal. Okay.
Any other questions? All right, we'll open a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? If not, we will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve the change of the land use designation and the rezoning for all those lots except for 1701 Proctor.
I'll second that.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez? Aye.
Orderud,
Yes.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to public hearing 2022-8.
I guess I should have asked this question to Clint. If they decide 1701 to put a commercial building there, they will be allowed to, irregardless of what the other homes in that area, there are R1B. So it doesn't matter. They're still going to be allowed to have a commercial building there, or if they want, or whatever.
Yeah, correct. There will be some additional development standards because it's adjacent.
There
For
will be.
R1B, you'll have to have a increased setbacks, some screening. and
So there
buffering
will be some
requirements.
protection for the rest of the
Yes,
home.
but they
Okay.
will be able to develop a
I
commercial.
feel better
use.
now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi.
Question for city attorney, while we're still on this agenda item.
Well, we're really not, but yes.
Well, you know me, I
In
do it
theory.
anyway.
Yeah.
Could we have had multiple motions on multiple lots, or must you take up the entire request in a single motion?
Law school exam.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Like, can we now, we can't now take up 1701. You see what I'm saying?
It's a moot point. You can get, right? Is it?
Probably, because we couldn't pass it.
Yeah, I would have to have a little time to think about that.
Okay.
Thank you, city attorney. Next is public hearing 2022-867.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the city of Waco, Texas, providing that the code of ordinances be amended by revising section 28-247 and chapter 28 zoning of said code, providing that the zoning map shall be changed so that certain property described as lot 15, block 1 of the Mosland Roberts addition known as 1500 Benton Avenue shall be changed from R1B district classification and be designated into R2 district classification, providing for penalties, providing a severability clause, and finding determined that the meeting in which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 6-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the request based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in conformance with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. 2, the property meets all the area and width requirements for R2 zoning. 3, the existing public infrastructure is adequate for use is allowed in R2 zoning. And 4, there's other medium and high density zoning in the vicinity of subject property.
Are there any questions for staff?
Nope.
Open a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? Good, Dad. Any questions?
No.
If not, we'll close the public hearing and I'll ask for a motion.
I move for approval on first reading.
Second?
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Orderud,
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries and we'll move to public hearing 2022-868.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the city of Waco, Texas, abandoning a portion of alley between Dallas Street and a previously abandoned 20-foot wide alley parallel to Russ Street, described as being all that tract of land located in the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, being a portion of 20-foot wide alley in block 12 of the Renix addition to the city of Waco, as shown of the plat recorded in volume 28, page 502. The deed records of McLennan County, Texas, finding no duty to maintain, authorizing the city manager to execute quitclaim deeds, providing a severability clause, and finding determined the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public required by law. By a vote of 7-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of abandonment based on the following findings and condition. That public use of the right-of-way is not required for proper flow of traffic or for emergency vehicle access to the area, and utility access for surrounding properties is not adversely impacted by the abandonment of the right-of-way. The condition is that a sewer line easement shall be retained for the whole area of the abandonment.
Are there any questions for staff? We'll open a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? I'll close the public hearing and I'll ask for a motion.
Move for approval on first reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez?
Aye.
Porter,
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes, that motion carries. We'll move to public hearing 2022-869.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance abandoning a portion of an alley located near Jefferson Avenue and North 9th Street, described as a 0.075 acre parcel of land located within Farm Lot 17 of the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, and being a portion of a 20-foot wide alley located between Columbus Avenue and Jefferson Avenue, finding no duty to maintain, authorizing the city manager to execute quitclaim deeds, providing a severability clause, and a finding to determine the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. We did receive a request from the applicant to continue this hearing until the December 6th council meeting, and staff does recommend approval of that continuance.
Is there a motion to continue this hearing until December 6th?
Mayor, you'll have to open a public hearing on
Oh,
the
sorry.
continuance.
We'll open a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? Is there a motion to continue this hearing until December 6th?
So moved. I'll second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez?
Aye.
Porter,
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to public hearing 2022-870.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the city of Waco, Texas, providing for extension of certain boundary limits of the city of Waco, Texas, the annexation of certain territory consisting of approximately 2.16 acres of land, more or less, described as Lot 13, Block 1 of the Texas Central South Edition, as recorded by Plat 2010-03-5214, the official public records of McLennan County, Texas, and being located at 5759 Bagby Avenue and further located within Waco's extraterritorial jurisdiction, with which said territory lies adjacent to and adjoins the present boundary limits of the city of Waco, Texas, providing for a designation of industrial as the comprehensive plan land use designation and designation of M2 light industrial district zoning, assigning the annexed territory to City Council District 3, amending the city of Waco Precinct 16 to include the annexed territory, directing that the city precinct district map be revised to reflect that change, and providing voting locations at City of Waco Vote Center, providing that said territory bears pro rata part of taxes and entitling inhabitants to all rights and privileges of citizens, and binding inhabitants to acts and laws of the city of Waco, adopting a service plan, providing a servability clause, providing for publishing of the ordinance, providing for penalties, and finding determined the meeting in which this ordinance is passed is open to the public required by law. By a 7-0 vote, Plan Commission recommended approval of the annexation, land use designation, and zoning for the property.
Is there, are there any questions for staff?
Nope.
Open up a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? If not, we'll close the public hearing and I'll ask for a motion.
Mayor, I move that we bring this land into the warm, loving embrace of the city of Waco and into District 3, the industrial heart of our beloved city.
I'll second that.
I'm not sure.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
Can I amend that?
Please poll the
No
council.
amendments.
Rodriguez?
Aye.
Porter,
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. The following resolutions were pulled from the consent agenda and will be voted on separately. Resolution 2022-880 and 889. Is there a motion on 880?
Mayor, before you all make that motion, I just wanted to clarify an earlier statement I made. On those items, they've been pulled because there's a conflict of interest for them. And so on those items, it only takes 3 affirmative votes to pass those items.
Thank you, Jennifer. Is there a motion on 880?
Are you gonna disqualify yourself on anything?
I have. Yeah, I
On the-
filed them
Okay.
on 880 and
889.
Okay.
I'll move for approval. You asked for, yeah, I'm moving for approval of those resolutions.
Of 880? Second.
The motion is second. Please poll the council.
Rodriguez?
Aye.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes, that motion carries. We'll move to 889. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. And next we'll move to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of resolutions 2022-871 through 889. Excuse me, 898, except for 875, 880, and 889. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Porteroo,
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 2022-899.
Yes, Mayor, ordinance number 2022-899, an ordinance amending Chapter 25, Traffic and Vehicles of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco, Texas, by adding a new Article 16, City of Waco Parking Authority, providing for the establishment of the authority, establishment of the board, enumeration of the board's authority, and duration of the authority, providing a savings clause, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and finally determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance comes to council on first reading.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval on first reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to ordinance 2022-900.
Ordinance 2022-900, an ordinance amending Chapter 16 nuisances of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco, Texas, by adding Article 9 graffiti to declare graffiti a nuisance, provide for graffiti abatement procedures, the notice of violation and enforcement of the prohibition, providing for penalties, providing a severability clause, providing a savings clause, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date, and finally determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by a 5-0 council vote on first reading on November 1st, 2022.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Porteroo,
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. The next item is the hearing of visitors. During the hearing of visitors section of the agenda, we provide an opportunity for the public to address concerns or address issues that are not matters for consideration listed on the agenda. Council is unable to conduct discussion, but will listen, ask staff to look into concerns, and will provide follow-up. Please provide registration information so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know, and staff will distribute those to the council. If you're unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you. Is there anyone present who would like to speak during the hearing of visitors? And I actually do have one card, and that's Mr. Ephraim Herring.
God works in mysterious ways. Thank y'all for having me over here because you can see what I've been talking about for the last 5 years. 1046 Chestnut. If you come out here, make a left, make another left, on Chestnut, go to the right, you see the house with that crazy fence up. That's not the house I've been complaining about for the last 5 years. In 2012, I talked to Wilbert Austin, who convinced me to come back to Waco and invest in District 1. So I did. My mom's savings, my savings. So now when the house was built by NeighborWorks Waco, I brought out to your inspectors, there was a violation. And my major concern is, I could kill this with anything else. But my major concern is chapter 28, you see the ordinance, section 28-11, says, any person or corporation who shall build or alter any building or use in violation of any detailed statements or plans submitted and approved under this chapter shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Each day such violation should continue to exist, shall constitute a separate violation. July 24th, 2017, your inspection passed the house that was in violation of City of Waco policy of sidewalks. The house also was built not in accordance with the plans submitted by the city. I came here August 1st, 2017 and said, NeighborWorks Waco built a house that's not in accordance with the approved plans by the city. We sent 2 people out here to me, said they was gonna fix the problem. The problem still exists. That house is not built in accordance with to approve site plans submitted by the city of Waco and approved by the city of Waco. So I'm asking you again, right now, because y'all gonna come after me. Y'all gonna come after me with Waco. It's been proven. I come up here from July 1st, talking to your people, 2017, to the day, to the present. It's in violation and continue to be in violation. And then insult the injury on May of 2018, y'all built a drive approach that now has a conflict with me because I was gonna try to work past that. It's not in accordance with the public works plans that y'all submit for us to follow. So my question is simple. I have yet, as of August of 2018, any of your city members come talk to me about how they're gonna fix that. Because when you pull the plans up, you see that house is not built in accordance with the plans submitted to the city of Waco. Y'all have a blessed day, and thank you for having a meeting over here. Y'all can all go see what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak during the hearing of visitors? If not, we'll close the hearing of visitors, and I'll ask if there's any council member reports on committees, boards, commissions, liaison visit. If not, then are there any requests for future agenda items? If not, we will close the public, we will adjourn the meeting at 6:45 PM. Thanks, everybody.